Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to this channel. So guys, there's a new development in Nigeria's news, guys. Update. So in a recent statement that has stirred fresh debate across the globe, US Envoy, they are saying US what's his name? Trump's special advisor said that, made a chilling revelation. He said Boko Haram, the extremist group that has terrorized Nigeria for over a decade, has killed more Muslims than Christians. While some people also in the UX actually are also saying that Christians are targeted. There's this news flying everywhere on the internet saying that Christians are more targeted than Christians. In fact, they said that there is Christian genocide, not for the special advisor of Trump to say that Muslims have been killed or Muslims are being targeted, or they have killed more Muslims than Christians. Guys, for years, international report has Western media painted Boko Haram brutality as primary and anti-Christian crusade, but the truth, according to dates, testimonies, and news investigation, tells a far more complex and a breaking heart story. So I want you to take a look at this what's it called, this video. Also, Omokri actually invited some people in US to come to Nigeria, and then actually Omokri, this he actually said that this Boko Haram don't target any, whether they don't target Christian or Muslim, they just buy people. They're not even saying anything to stop the insecurity. It's not even about your tribe. The fact here is that it's not about your tribe. What we want is let insecurity end in Nigeria. So people have said that they don't target any religion. They just buy people. They don't target any religion. Some said they target more of Muslims. Some they target more of Christians. In fact, some has gone ahead to say that there's a Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. So guys, take a look at this video and I'll be right back shortly. Take a look, guys.
Let me get your view on about the issue of genocide and what the United States presidential aide has to say. What the government of Nigeria has been pushing is to let the world know that Ted Cruz and some other lawmakers in the United States are wrong, and that there is no deliberate attempt on a genocide attempt on the lives of Christian Nigerians. What do you make of that statement? Do you think it can be far-reaching? Trump government and the American Parliament might be able to reason on that note.
Thank you, Seun. First and foremost, it is sad. It is sad that we are even discussing deaths of Nigerians, and we are saying that, well, it is not targeted at just Christians. It is indiscriminate.
Let me get Let me get your view on about the issue of genocide and what the United States presidential aide has to say. What the government of Nigeria has been pushing is to let the world know that Ted Cruz and some other lawmakers in the United States are wrong, and that there is no deliberate attempt on a genocide attempt on the lives of Christian Nigerians. What do you make of that statement? Do you think it can be far-reaching? Trump government and the American Parliament might be able to reason on that note.
Thank you, Seun. First and foremost, it is sad. It is sad that we are even discussing deaths of Nigerians, and we are saying that, well, it is not targeted at just Christians. It is indiscriminate. That for me, first and foremost, it's a mark below average on the government perform poorly, that people are being killed indiscriminately, but those killed are not just Christians. So I will agree, if you permit me to say, yes, that people that have been killed You can't really say that it is a certain religious group that have been killed. But the fact remains that Nigerians are being killed in droves. Nigerians are the ones dying. And why Nigerians are dying in droves, you see the governors, the elected officials, the president, they're driving around town in armored vehicles, in a barrage of police convoys, and the president is globetrotting. And now we're having to debate whether it is Muslims or Christians. Nobody is asking whether they are Muslims or Christians. Are they Nigerians? Should they die? Should these people be allowed, for the fact that they are peasant farmers, should they be allowed to go back to their farm? And it is not just in one region of the country. It is everywhere. And like Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State, even though he's a politician and they play politics all the time, like he has said, the defection that Nigerians want to see is defection away from insecurity, is defection away from hunger and deprivation, is defection away from diseases, and not whether the people that are dying are Christians or Muslims. The government had admitted by itself that people are dying. The fact that they are not just those that have been killed are not only Christians, that also you have Muslims. It's immaterial for me. And so let us drop the debates. Let us leave the religion of the people that have been killed and talk about the fact that Nigerians deserve to live and that they shouldn't be killed the way they are being killed.
Look at the figures and those presidents' travels. What do you make of them?
You see, it takes my mind back. I always say this, and people say I'm being hard on the government. No, it takes my mind back always, because this is the same government. They played opposition so well. Chief Obafemi Awolowo, in his time, God bless his soul, did say that the problems of Nigerians are so enormous that he voted into office that he would not need to travel. He would sit down, fold his sleeves, and solve the problems. And that was at a time there was no internet, there was no social media. Now, with a click of the button, you know what is happening around the world. So we don't even need to go out to go woo foreign investors. If we put our house in order, foreign investors will come. People want to do business with Nigeria. We have the market, we have the population, we have the vibes, and we have the can-do spirit. What we just don't have is, the human, the leadership in terms of human resources in leadership. That's what we don't have. So this idea of attending summit here, globetrotting there, private visit, public visit, 192 days out of 166 days. So when you look at that and then people sit down and say, oh yes, Mr. President, the gains, they already seen the gain. So you can only say the gain when it percolates to the microeconomics, not the macro that they talk about. And we'll talk about the macroeconomics, we'll talk about the policies, we'll talk about market indices. All of this does not make sense to the average man, except the average man on the street is saying that the real sector of the economy is working. And once the real sector works, that is what grinds the economy. So what I will appeal to Mr. President, the problems are so enormous. The killings are there, the hunger is there, his policies, he has consistently admitted that these policies, had caused enormous hardship on the people, that the people should bear, and that this is a gestation period and that they will yield dividend. Yes, I agree, we have seen some, we've seen some gain, but I just wonder if the president will sit back a little more. The gains will be much more than we are seeing with these little trickles. If he will sit back much more and understand, when was the last time we saw the president even take a visit around some of these hotspots in the country? Today you hear killings in Katsina. Yeah, they are quick to say, oh, point at your governors. The governors are not the chief security officers, properly so speaking. They are just figureheads. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And then that takes me back to the issue of traveling. When the president was in opposition, Goodluck Jonathan was there. These were their proposition too, that a president ought, the problem that we have, deserve that the president should sit down more and stop looking what. President Jonathan didn't travel this much, even though Buhari, was always in and out. President Tinubu also had followed suit. So at the end of the day, the big question begging for answer is, with all of this travel, if what the gains we can see, is just the 7% gain that we're seeing, then I think the president needs to sit back more and see if the gains will be 30%, and then we'll be happy.
But there are those who will say we belong in a more globalized world where you cannot sit in your home and expect miracles to happen. You need to reach out. You need to launch out. You need to have a handshake with the rest of the world. You need to sit where world leaders are sitting, where decisions are made. Would you say you wanted to, you're thinking of President Bola Tinubu being more of a localized president than being a global leader? Is that what you're trying to say?
So, at the last hunger, United Nations General Assembly, the president was in there. The heavens didn't fall. Even some international scholars of international law and diplomacy believes that he ought to be there to sell Nigeria. But the question had consistently remained. Anytime the African leaders go to hunger, anytime they address the General Assembly, look at the hall compared to when, Europe, America addressed the General Assembly. I listened to Patrick Lumumba a lot, and Africa need to look inward. The same way the president need to look inward. It doesn't make him a local champion. Rather, if he puts his house in order, if he builds good industries, if he sings good songs, and his people are happy, the world will create a path to him. He does not need to go cap in hand, because they will give him terms and conditions. But the way we are now, we need to look inward. Barack Obama once said that the solution to the problem of Africa lies in Africa. The solution to the problems of Nigeria lies in Nigeria. This security that we are complaining about now, a lot of people have pointed accusing fingers at politicians. The challenges, the hunger, the deprivation, the inflation that we complain about, the scarcity, if you can rest it squarely at the doorstep of leadership. So leadership does not mean you going to shake hands across the world. It means first and foremost putting the right structures in place, and the world will come to shake hands with you. Did America have to travel around the world for them to create the kind of country that everybody now wants to get a visa to? So the challenge here is that our government really does not know when to hold back. Look at our governors. At every little opportunity, they attend parties abroad, they will tell you they went to woo foreign investors. They go see their families abroad, they will tell you they went for foreign investment. Now, there's a new what do you call it, a word in our lexicon, political lexicon, a working visit. The president, the governor is on a walk to France, it's on a working visit to Brazil. So, and then what's the essence of the AIDS? Let me tell you, Sean, I had opportunity to attend a seminar by the county, Miami-Dade County, the international trade consultants in Miami-Dade County. And do you know that in that consultants seminar, the mayor wasn't even there. It was all the experts in their various field that went for that negotiation, that went to sell their country. It's not until the mayor or the governor goes around begging people, come and invest, then that's when people begin to invest in your country. With a click of the thing button, show you are in Abuja, I am here, and we are communicating, we are talking. The last council meeting was hybrid meeting. Did everybody need to be present in the hall? So the world is seeing Nigeria. The world is looking at us. The Ted Cruz, did he need to come to Nigeria to talk about the genocide happening, the killings happening in Nigeria? The answer is no. The question will remain that what the world is saying is solve the killings in Nigeria, solve the injustice in Nigeria, solve the hunger in Nigeria, solve the diseases in Nigeria.
Mr. Oshoma, you look at it, 2024, President traveled 18 times. 2023, that he was appointed, he was inaugurated, he traveled 12 times. That's number of trips. I'm making reference to 12 trips he made in 2023, 18 trips in 2024. And I'm hoping that those graphic elements are on the screen for our viewers to make sense of it. As of the last of his visit now made it the 16th time, and the year is still running that he has traveled this year. So an entire 192 days that he has spent outside of Nigeria as of October 2025 So there was this criticism of the Kenyan president when he was just sworn in, and they were calculating how much it cost the Kenyans for the president to travel abroad, and they were criticizing, and when people were talking about president's travel, there are those who say it is a necessity. This is for good governance in Nigeria, the president, and sometimes you even find the president and the vice president traveling at the same time for different purposes. Maybe we might be looking at something that is evident or important for the first 2 years of them. Maybe in the third and the fourth year, they might stay back home, and maybe the FBI would have come as much as they expect.
So, you see, I always laugh. I take your mind back to 1999 to 2003, and then from 2003 to 2007, when the president was the governor of Lagos State and they were in opposition. And you remember, Obasanjo also, the word then was globetrotting. Obasanjo traveled around the world, and people said, his supporters said he was marketing Nigeria. That our image is so bad abroad that he needed to go around to market Nigeria. And some of his critics said no, that the man was going around to thank those who supported him while he was in prison and using the opportunity to market himself to the world. So, these were the same people, these people in government today, I'm quoting them, those were their statements, that the president does not need to go around to market Nigeria, that he needs to look inward, sit down. And then, you touched on a very important aspect, the cost of traveling. You remember when Buhari was on medical vacation in London, we were calculating how much we had to pay for the presidential jet to be parked in a hangar at the airport in London. We're paying in pounds. And yet, today, the same thing applies. The president will go on working visit to France. And in each of those working visits or any visit, you can imagine the number of entourage. Governors will go, escort, not to talk of the cost of the fleets. And then, in all of that, we are talking about tightening our belt. It's like we are at the structural adjustment program, SAP of Obasanjo, of the IDB era, where the government says, tighten your belt. The president is saying, I know that my policies have brought untold hardship on you. So please bear with me. These policies are the bitter pill we need to swallow. But people also, as much as people want to bear, they also want to see the president bearing. But the idea of when there is insecurity anywhere, the president, boom, is out of the country. It is so bad now that we no longer take insecurity. It has become so normal that tomorrow you hear that bandits kill about 10 people in the north, some persons are kidnapped in the south. It just, occupy a corner in the newspapers. And nobody talks about it. And then the next thing, the government no longer issues statements about it. And then the next thing, the president is out of the country. Nobody's even talking about the cost these days. That's why I said, you have mentioned a very important aspect of this whole problem. So, we need the president to also, some of those costs of traveling, you can do it remotely. You can talk to investors remotely, plow those costs into critical sector. The world is diversifying into a knowledge-based economy. We look at our universities. These are the same universities that used to do student exchange programs with the best universities in the world. Look at our federal hospitals. Go to UCH Ibadan. That was the same. They tell you that UCH Ibadan, those days, used to the king of Saudi Arabia used to come attend medicals in UCH Ibadan. You won't believe it. But some of these costs, the costs for going on this foreign trip, on trying to woo investors, attending one meeting or the other, would be enough to put some of these critical sectors like health, some of our roads. I don't even want to talk about the roads because they are not motorable. You can't pass from Warri to Benin successfully now. Yesterday, it took the governor of Delta State to intervene, to flag off. We are celebrating flagging off of the construction of road as if the road has been constructed. You know, so that is how bad it is. And that's why if the president would sit back a little bit, take a tour around. Those days, government used to do meet my people tour. Take a tour around. Go also look at, feel the pain of the people on the streets. Is it not the same Tinubu from Lagos? So why is it afraid of the streets? Go around these states, look at these places, and then you see for yourself. Forget about what your aides are telling you. Forget about statement from Bayon Onuga, and look at what is actually happening. And the president, I bet you, if he takes those approaches, he will reduce his traveling.
All right. Let me get your view as a final conversation. So the U.S. has issued an advisory to citizens right here in Nigeria about a planned free Nnamdi Kanu or release Nnamdi Kanu protest in Abuja, and we understand that it will happen in some of the states on Monday. And there are those who have criticized the prerogative of mercy list as released by the presidency. The Attorney General of the Federation has released a statement saying it's under review, nothing is finalized just yet, and they will continue to work on it until they get a perfect and a final approval from the president. Now, they're saying if you could give clemency to some of these people on the list, why not give Nnamdi Kanu, decide on a non-prosecute on aim, withdraw the matter in court, and let there be a political decision to be made to release Nnamdi Kanu. In all of this, the decision or the list has been made, 175 people on that list. Some of them are kidnappers, thieves, corrupt people, and those who are killed. The question is, what do you make of the right of the president to exercise his constitutional duty?
It has never been in doubt that Section 175 of the Constitution empowers the president to exercise that prerogative of mercy on anybody under any offense in Nigeria created by the National Assembly, including members of the armed forces. Nobody has doubted those powers. It is the exercise of those powers that people are worried about, considering the insecurity in the country, also considering the peculiar states and the position we are as a people. Lastly, considering where the president is coming from, you remember when Goodluck Jonathan granted amnesty to Alamesia, some of the president's aides and supporters and his party members said it was immoral, the height of immorality. And so today, people have been calling for the release of Nnamdi Kanu because Nnamdi Kanu, whatever he became, was a creation of the federal government. Whatever he became, first and foremost, it was the injustice in the land that led to the creation of somebody wanting to be a hero and wanting to rescue his people. And then subsequently, government started paying too much attention, unnecessary attention to him, and they made him a hero. And you can also agree that in other countries of the world, including America and Europe, when you are charged with terrorism of such nature, certainly sometimes they can even delay trial and play ping pong with it. You know, like some of the prisoners in Guantanamo Bay, even including France and the terrorist attack in France, you know, and all of that. I agree. But then, with what we are seeing in Nigeria, somebody who was charged for drug dealing, young people who were charged for drug dealing in illegal mining, in 2023, and then they just been convicted last year, and the president will grant them amnesty, and the senator, a politician will say that he will sign undertaking for them to be of good behavior. What are we telling the people? Is that, look, some of these persons are pawns in the hands of high-profile politicians. Somebody who are fighting insecurity, somebody who was convicted for selling arms, our arms, national assets, for jeopardizing the country called Nigeria, for selling us out. That person was convicted and he was granted pardon, just the same way we give blanket amnesty to thieves, kidnappers, criminals. And today we have taken it to an all-time low. So certainly when that happens, people are going to say free, grant amnesty to Lawrence Anini, grant amnesty to Oyenusi, grant amnesty to Monday Subo, or in fact open the prisons, let everybody go, because the people who took their time, somebody who was convicted for fraud. So what are you telling the EFCC boss? What are you telling the young men in EFCC and ICPC, who in some cases are having to face the pressure of compromise but refuse, and then they convict such persons, and then only for that person to be released by the president? So indirectly, what they are telling them is that, look, you don't need to even bother about Nigeria. So that is why people are saying free Nnamdi Kanu, because it's also not different from the people you are afraid. And lastly, Seun, it is so bad enough that after the exercise of that power under Section 175, that now the Attorney General is saying we are reviewing. So which comes first? So we have placed the horse, we have placed the cat before the horse, and shamelessly, they are now having to review. It is good, at least. It is better late than never. Let them review. It shows that they hear the cries of the people.
So, guys, that was a wonderful interview with Shion. I really love what that man said. Now, I'm going to break everything down for you guys to understand. So, first, we're talking about the fact that U.S. The special advisor of Trump said that Muslims are being killed more than Christians. Why some people, just like the senator in America, what's his name, Ted Cruz, he has said that that this Boko Haram targets Christian. In fact, Christian genocide is going on in Nigeria. So now we're going to understand these two parts. So across Nigeria, the main thing? The main thing is not who is killed or be who is not killed. The main thing is that Nigerians don't deserve to die. Yes, across Nigeria today, blood flows in places where peace once lived, guys. In Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, in Benue, even the capital city, Abuja, citizens are being slaughtered, displaced, and silenced. Yet, the same government that that swore to protect lives and properties continues to issue statements, hold meeting, and move on like nothing happened, guys. This is not just about religion, it's about life itself, about Nigerians who deserve to live, to breathe, to walk their streets without fear. Yes, there are many people in Nigeria that don't even sleep peacefully. They're sleeping and one eyes are opened because of these bad guys, because they can come at any time to buy them. So for many than for many for more than a decade now, Nigerians have been caught in a cycle of violence, from Boko Haram terror to banditry, from to header farmer clashes, kidnapping and assassination. Guys, every week reports emerges of dozens, guys, killed, communities burnt, and families displaced. Yet it feels as if the life of ordinary Nigerians means nothing to those in power. So the construction of this country makes it clear, guys, the primary duty of the government is to what? Protect lives and property. But today, Nigerians are forced to protect themselves or die to or die trying, that kind of thing. So why Nigerians die daily? Our leaders live in comfort. Guys, Nigeria will be burning, but the president will travel outside the country for a working for holiday. Guys, you'll be asking yourself, this is not the time for holidaying, Mr. President. This is a time to sit back in Nigeria and go back to the drawing board and fix things. So you can see, guys, this they're even protected by security escorts paid for by the same people who are dying in insecurity. When villages are attacked, All we hear are phrases like, we condemn this act in strong terms, we will investigate, our hearts are with the victims, but investigation never come, justice never follows, and the killings never stop, guys. It's a very painful reality. Or, the federal government has become too comfortable with the bloodshed, too, numb to the cries of its own people, too busy with politics to secure the nation. So you can see, how did we even get here at all? To a point where lives in Nigeria has no value, where killings are so frequent that they are no longer, they no longer shock us again. A nation that doesn't value its citizen has lost its moral compassion. Hope you guys know that every Nigeria, whether from the north or south, whether Christian or Muslim, whether farmer or students, deserves safety, dignity, and peace. We must stop normalizing this strategy. Guys, we must stop it. We must stop moving on from massacre to massacre as if death is part of our national identity, guys. So the thing is, it's time to hold the federal government accountable, not through empty words, but through truth and civil action. Billions are targeted yearly for security, yet our soldiers complain of poor equipment, our police are underpaid, and our borders remain porous, guys. Who takes responsibility for these innocent Nigerians? Who answer for the thousands of families living in IDP camps for years, forgotten by a government that promised them safety? No government should get away with failure this costly, like, without, no government should get away with failure this costly. Nigerians are not statistics. We are human beings. Our life matters a lot. So guys, behind every number is a name, a face, and a dream cut short. Mothers who lost some, children who now sleep under open skies, farmers who can't return home because of fear. They are not distant story, guys. They are us. They are Nigerians who once had lived, lived, they have once lived with hope. They are us. These are not distant story. They are us. They are Nigerians who once had hope, now left to struggle with, struggle while the powerful make speeches on television. So enough is enough. Nigerians deserve to live, not to be killed in their own homes. The government must wake up from this silence, guys. Security is not a privilege; it is a right. The right to life is scarce, guys. Scarce. So, and any government that cannot guarantee it has failed its most basic duty. So it's time for reaction, not committees, not condolences, but courage. Courage to reform, to prosecute, and to protect. So, guys, this country belongs to all of us. Yes, and every single Nigeria deserves chance to live, to grow, to dream without fear or being killed. Guys, may the voices of innocent Nigeria never be forgotten. May the silence of the government never be forgiven, and may the demand for justice never stop until Nigerians can live free from fear. So guys, what do you think about this headline? Do well to drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.